Welcome to the Bushido Gang. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Attack on Samurai, bringing you all some coverage of my latest tournament that I held in my Discord for Black and White. For Black and White OU, I mean. So this is the first tour of the summer for my Discord, and basically this is going to be like a series of tournaments that are going to be happening throughout the summer in my Discord in this series called the Summer Wars. So basically, how it works is that the winners of each of these tours, they get a certain amount of points. The amount should go up to about 10, I believe. That's where I'm like ranging around 10. So the players that reach 10 points will be able to play in the final tournament of the summer, which will be called the Summer War. So this is just the first tournament that'll be topping off the whole summer. So yeah. For this week though, for Black and White, I only got 6 people to play. 6 people actually signed up for it. Only had about 3 games though, which is not really that great, but it's the first tour. It's the first tour of the summer, so it is what it is. But for game 1, we have Sid and we have Vento. So before we get started with the coverage for these games, please make sure to leave a like and comment on the video, letting me know, I guess, like, if you want me to continue doing tournament coverage, because it's been quite a while since I've done some tournament coverage, like in general. So I'm thinking about getting back into that, especially with me doing these tours again in my Discord. Yeah, especially with me doing these tours again, I'm gonna try, build up my I guess knowledge for these for tours in general. So yeah. Anyways, let's talk about game 1 here. Let's go by the matchup first. Matchup wise, Vento has a pretty interesting looking team. Sableye is something you don't really see, or is something you don't see at all in Black and White OU. Just because the meta is just so offensive. Sableye just doesn't really have a great role, except maybe like burning things because of Prankster Willow. But outside that, it doesn't really do a whole lot. But I can see why it would be. But I can see like why it has some niche to it with Taunt plus Willow. I think it does get knockoff as well, and you can also like night chase some things down, so it can kind of work well, especially with this with Hatcher stacking going on from Ferrothorn and Tentacruel. Then you got the offensive mons being Lando, Lottie, and Tar. Lando could maybe be a rocker, but I feel like it's going to be maybe Scarfed here. Lottie, not too sure what Lottie can do. I see Latios more than Lottie, so Latias, not too sure what that mon can do. Again, it's basically, I mean, Latias and Latios kind of work the same way, except, Latias has better bulk to be a better, like, Calm Mind Sweeper. Tar, don't really know what Tar could do. Maybe Tar could be banded on a team like this, but again, let's wait and see. And then Sid on the other side. Sid's got some weird stuff going on. Not your typical Black and White team at all. So these are teams that, aren't typically Black and White, but yeah, I'm not really too sure what could be going on here. Volk is actually pretty strong. I guess looking at the team, or looking at Vento's team, it could actually be pretty dangerous, especially if he can weaken the Tar, or even the actually no, weakening the Tentacruel is definitely gonna be his way to break through Vento's team. Don't know what Cloister could do. Cloister is usually like a shell smasher, so this will be interesting. Kirim is a great wall breaker, one of the best wall breakers in the game. You can run it like Life Orb. You can run it. I think Bandit too. Band's actually very good. Got Mence there. Mence has some other options as well, like a Life Orb mix set. Rachi can do a lot of things. It can do a lot of things. It could be a rocker. It can be a wish passer. It could be scarfed. And then Reuniclus could probably be like some Calm Mind Sweeper as well, most likely. But again, we'll have to wait and see what this game will tell, what this game will show us. So anyways, let's dive in and let's get this underway. So Turn 1, we got Sableye versus Kieran Black. Well, that's not a really good lead for Vento. Vento has to switch out here, or maybe, pretty much has to switch out here. Goes for the burn instead on the Reuniclus. So Reuniclus gets burned. Shows that Reuniclus actually took damage from that, so that means that this is probably going to be like some regen stuff. Volcarona comes in, and Sableye goes for the taunt on the switch in. Here comes Bug Buzz. That did over half to the Sableye. No burn from this. No burn on Sableye either. Gonna recover there as Volcarona goes for a Fire Blast and misses. Taunt's gonna wear off there. Goes for another taunt as Sid is gonna go for the Fire Blast again, and Sableye is taking too much damage. Gets burned as well. So Sableye is getting worn down very quickly, especially because of that burn there. And again in this gen, burn does 12%, so that is gonna kill off the Sableye right there. Here comes Tar. Tar can suit it, or it could just, Stone Edge it if it has Stone Edge. It goes for T-Wave, so it's going to be more of a support Tar, so that's interesting. So if it's support Tar, then maybe it's going to have, like, Rock Slide, Crunch, maybe Suit. Definitely Rocks, most likely. So Rocks are definitely going to be great, because Volcarona is going to get worn down very quickly. Goes for Slide, so there goes Volk. So Volk is going to drop there. No lefties, so what kind of Tar is this? Maybe it's, like... So there's no lefties on the Tar, that's very interesting. Usually, if it's some kind of support Tar, I would have, like, lefties, but maybe it's, like, Chesto, Resto, or something. Oh, no. Body Slam comes down, doing some damage there, gets Parrot, and Tar is going to stay Parrot there. Salamence is going to come in now, and going to drop the Intimidate on Mence. Then comes Ferrothorn on the switch. Pharaoh doesn't really want to stay in here because of Fire Blast. Yeah, exactly. But Pharaoh's going to knock off that Life Orb, so there goes the Life Orb from the Mence. Lando comes in now to catch the next Fire Blast, or whatever this does. Goes for Draco on the switch. So Draco is a very, very raw play from Sid's part. Definitely going to switch out and bring in the Cloyster. So Cloyster's in here. And rocks are now up. So Lando is going to be the rocker. We go in the... Vento goes back into Pharaoh. And Cloyster's going to go for the spin. So this is not your typical Cloyster at all. Not your typical offensive Shell Smashing Cloyster. No, this is going to be some support stuff. So this Cloyster probably has spikes. Yep, exactly. So Leech Seed's going to come down. Going to wear down that Cloyster with the Leech Seed plus the recovery. Power Up's going to come down, doing a good chunk to it, keeping it low. Helmet's coming too. Leech Seed plus Sand. And if Pharaoh has Protect, goes for Boom. Okay. So that's going to get boomed. And Vento gets a spike down. So Vento is still looking like she's in a decent spot. Cause spikes again hurt the Kyurem, also hurt Jirachi as well. And she can still get her rocks up, maybe even on Jirachi anyway. So she's still in a pretty decent spot. Now Mence being in here is definitely a problem for her. She's gonna want to try and switch back into Tar. Because that's the only switching you have for the Fire Blast. I guess if you want to make the play, you could go Tentacruel as well to try and spin. But Lando comes in instead, so I guess she's going to sack it. So she's going to sack the Lando. Rocks would have been better, honestly, because again, chipping down that Kyurem would be great, but that's fine. Lottie comes in, and Lottie is going to go for a Dragon Pulse on the Jirachi switch, which doesn't do very much. Dragon Pulse is something that is definitely something you don't see on Lottie. So maybe it's gonna be, maybe it is like some kind of calm mindset. But again, not too sure yet. Still kind of early to tell. So gonna go for gonna get to the lefties recovery, and it's gonna sub here. So we're seeing some sub calm mind Lottie here. So sub calm mind Lottie is definitely interesting. If that is the case, it should be sub calm mind Lottie. Yep, there's the sub and the calm mind coming down. Iron is going to come down and also going to break that sub. And also Jirachi's going to get its wish off too. So this Jirachi is going to be a problem for the rest of these mons here, because with it having wish support, it can just wish up Mence and also wish itself up and just be able to Iron Head / Body Slam things. And once Jirachi gets his Paras down, nothing really stops it, because Iron Head with the I think 60%, yeah, I think a 60% chance to flinch, and also with the Para spam as well, it's going to be very difficult for Vento to really break through. But let's see if she can do it. Iron is going to come down, going to break that sub. I'm probably going to skip a couple turns because I believe this goes on for a little bit longer. So we're just going to skip turns real quick. So skip, sub, recover, Calm Mind, sub, recover again. Trying to just stall out these iron hits because now Sid has 16 iron hits left. So I think what Vento wants to do is try and like get, try and like wear down those iron hits. But at the same time, she could also just keep switching into Ferrothorn and just start spiking down. Because at this point, keeping Lottie this low isn't really that great. But now that she got the recovery, though, it's definitely better to just switch into Ferrothorn now. Just to, one, preserve Lottie still. But she decides to go for the Dragon Pulse instead. Iron Hit's still doing decent damage anyway. Again, I definitely think Vento would be in a much better spot going for the Ferrothorn and not risking Para. But Iron Hit's coming down, doing 29%, so almost 30%. Ferrothorn's in here now, so Ferro's gonna come in, gonna get Iron Headed, but Jirachi's gonna get chipped by the Iron Barbs. So now what Ferrothorn can do is just keep spiking. Pretty much, or even Leech Seed on Mend Switch if she wants to make that prediction, which she does make that prediction. However, there's still not a really solid switch in. Besides Cruel, of course, which can probably take a Draco, but not an Outrage. Definitely not an Outrage. Outrage is going to do way too much damage. So that was a very good call on Sid's part going for that Outrage. Now she's going to have to switch back, go back into Ferrothorn, and Mence is going to get, destroyed by Leech Seed plus the recoil. So, yeah. So Mence is pretty much dead on the next turn as Mence is locked in. And now what Vento can do is get another spike down. Yep, so she gets another spike, which means that, Ferrothorn, or not Ferrothorn, Kyurem's gonna get messed up, Rachi's gonna get messed up, but Kyurem comes in, Earth Power comes down, not doing a lot, Leech Seed comes down, so far it's looking like Vento might have a way around this. She might be able to bring this back soon. As long as she keeps Ferrothorn alive, she can definitely deal with the Jirachi very easily. But then the Freeze Shot comes down, and that is a dead Ferrothorn. So now things are in the opposite. Things are going in the opposite direction after that turn 41 turnaround with that Freeze Shock Power Herb tech. That was wild. That was very wild. So now that Ferrothorn's dead, and Kyurem is dead now. Now it's pretty much Lottie versus the world. And honestly, Lottie isn't going to really take over the world at this point because Rachi's going to be... It still has like enough Iron Heads. And speaking of Iron Head, there goes Tentacruel. So Tentacruel drops. And at this point, like I said, Tar is pretty much dead because Iron Head will kill it. And yeah, all she can really do at this point is to try and keep Calm Minding up and maybe try and break through the Rachi. But at this point, it's not really possible. And also, again, Sid has the potential to body slam Para it and then just 1v1 it at that point. But again, this Mon already 1v1s. Technically, got 8 more Iron Heads left. But again, he could definitely just switch it up and go for body slam, which he does go for. So Sid does go for the body slam on Vento's Latias. But now, again, he's just trying to preserve his Iron Heads at this point, not trying to waste too many. Granted, there's only 7 left now, but again, Vento has about 9 recovers, and honestly, it's gonna come down to 3, and then there's still that Re-Nicholas that we don't know anything about yet, besides it getting burned. So Iron Head comes down, doing again 30% almost. 5 more Iron Heads left. Goes for the sub there to try and waste another Iron Head. So another one goes down, and now Sid could just go for a body slam if he wants to on the potential recover, which he does go for. And there goes Lottie, and that is going to be GG at this point because again, Rachi just 1v1s this. So that's that. That is that. The Jirachi definitely had to work to beat down that Lottie. I definitely think Lottie has had a chance here. But if that, yeah, like I definitely think it had a chance here. Maybe if Vento had played Pharaoh a little bit more aggressively here and tried to keep spiking down, I think she had a chance. I definitely think she had a chance if she got down like 3 more layers. But it is what it is. That's gonna be GG, and pretty much Sid is gonna 1v1 the Lottie now. So that's that. Especially with those 3 flinches down too, which is definitely an ouch. So that's gonna be GG. So Sid moves on to the next round. Again, like I said, there were only 6 players that were playing. So Sid moves on, and that is going to be game 1. So game 2, right here is going to be game 2 was supposed to be Edster versus Taiga. But Taiga did not show up to play, so pretty much Edster was able to get the was able to get the forfeit win. So now we have game 3, which is going to be Spooky Z versus John. So in case you don't know who Spooky is, he's an up and coming newer player to Gen 8. I think he's pretty much like a World Cup qualifier or something like that. He's very good. He's very good, a prodigy, if I'd say. But yeah, he's using the same team that Vento used. I'm pretty sure that Vento probably got this team from him. So we're going to see how Spooky is going to play this team versus John's more standard team right here. So looking at the matchup, though, it's looking like, matchup-wise, Lando and Drill look pretty dangerous against Spooky's team. Definitely dangerous, especially with, Drill being potentially a mold breaker. It could definitely break down Lottie, especially since we know what kind of Lottie that is, based on the Vento game, or Vento versus Sid game. Excuse me, but yeah, we also see Lando again, which John's Lando could be pretty aggressive against Spookies, depending again on what kind it is. Pretty sure it's gonna be Scarf this time. Because again, there's 2 potential rockers here, being either, well, actually 3, being either Tar, Pharaoh, or Drill. So there's that. What else? I think Sableye might be a little bit of a problem to John this time compared to how Sid handled it. Because there's only one way you can really deal with this one, and that's probably gonna be with Lottie, barring the burn, of course. And depending on what kind of Lottie it is, too. If it's like Specs Lottie, then Draco will drop it. But yeah. Let's see how this game goes. Alright, turn 1. We got Lando versus Sableye. So this is a situation that I don't think John really wants to be in, because, Lando getting burned wouldn't be that great. But at the same time, he doesn't really have too many good switch-ins for burn anyway. I mean, if he wants to let Zam absorb the burn, he can. But then that also invites in Tar. But if he does do it, it's still not a bad trade. But you have to make that double, predicting the Tar or Lando to come in. So let's see. He's just going to take the trade. So he's going to get his rocks up here. Oh, no, he just Quakes. Okay, so Quake does 33%, which isn't... Actually, that's decent damage, even being burned. So this Lando is definitely Scarfed, or had to be like more offensive. So Lando's getting burned, and it seems to be, it seems to be Scarfed. So Earthquake is definitely still doing damage though. Goes for the taunt. So now Lottie can come in here on the recover. So Lottie's in here now. Sableye is pretty much back to full. Ferrothorn comes in on the switch to take the Draco. Draco doing 35, so that's definitely Specs Lottie, just based on that damage alone. He's going to switch back and go into Tar. So John's making all the aggressive doubles here. Spikes are going to come down from Spooky side. Lando comes in to catch the potential whatever move Tar would go for. Barrage are going to go up now. Pharaoh's going to come in here as Lando is going to go for rocks of its own. So now Pharaoh can get his spikes, and we're going to see the trade here. Pharaoh comes in on the spike play. No, knockoff actually. So he catches the Ferrothorn there. Going to get rid of the lefties there. So John's lefties are going to get knocked off too, as Spooky goes for knockoff there. Spikes are going to come down. So now they both don't have lefties. Drill's going to come in now to take the are going to come in on the spike play from Spooky. So Lando comes in. I believe he's just going to go for the spin here if he wants. No, he's going to protect. Okay, so seeing tech means that this might be a more defensive kind of drill, maybe more Spadef invested. So that'll be quite interesting. So it might be like Protect Toxic, which is kind of there to be like a way to do a Latios, or Latios, I mean. Sorry. So Drill is going to switch out and go into the Lando, as Lando is going to go for an Earthquake there. Again, just based on how much Earthquake did, definitely that Lando is going to be a more offensive one. Goes for the Protect. Okay, so we see Tech from Lando. Again, that's something you definitely don't see a lot in Black and White. Again, usually you would see some stuff like, you would see more like utility versions with like Stealth Rock, Earthquake, U-Turn, HP Ice, or you would see again Scarf, or like more offensively it's like Boom. So it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting to see what this Lando's going to be doing. But Protect tells me that maybe this is going to be like some kind of toxic tech Lando here. But he's got a lot of these utility options here. So Lando's going to switch out, bring in the drill, as Spooky is going to go for the earthquake. Wow. Wow. Okay, that was a pretty aggro play from Spooky there. I mean, in John's defense, he had no other switching because I mean, I guess he could have went Lottie still if he wanted to make that play. Honestly, Lottie would have been a very aggro play if he did go for it, but I guess maybe he didn't want to risk like HPIs or something, or since the tech came out, like maybe he thought that there would be a double or something, or that Spooky would make a double, but nope, Spooky made the aggro play and just went for Quake. So Drill dying is definitely bad because now Earthquake isn't going to be as effective against him anymore, and also Lando's also burned, so this Spooky's Landers is definitely going to be putting in the work right now. So Drill's dead, which means he can't spin either. Zam is in now, and HPS is going to come down and knock out Lando. So Lando is gone. So at least he gets the trade-off there, and there goes that. Here comes Tar. So Tar's in. Going to go for the... Oh, okay, so he tried to switch there. I wonder why didn't he go for the Focus Blast. I guess maybe John doesn't have Focus Blast on this. Maybe not. But Zam getting hit by the suit definitely sucks. But because he's Sash, he'll still be able to live. Pharaoh's in here now. And we don't know what kind of tar this is besides it having T-Wave. Gonna switch out and bring in the Cruel as John's gonna go for the spike there. Again, this Tentacle is pretty much free to spin. And all of those hazards that went down are all for naught. Go for the whip and miss. That miss is very bad because now Pharaoh can come back in and go for another spike. Or Spooky can just skull burn it if he wants, which he is going to try and do. So Tentacle's going to get chipped a little bit from the sand. Going to go for a Scald again to try and burn that Ferrothorn. Does get the burn. At least no, he's going all in. Okay, so John's going all in with the spike. However, it's still not the greatest thing in the world. Because Pharaoh's burned still, so Whip's not doing that much. So pretty much he's just going to go for the suicide spike. Hopefully to try and get some kind of advantage. So Spike is going to come down still, and Pharaoh's dead. So Pharaoh's gone. Now Zam can come in and just put immense pressure on him. In comes Sableye to take the Focus Blast. So I guess maybe he tried to make that play on Pharaoh or again on Tar. Lando's going to come in here on I believe, the foul play. So yeah, so Lando's gone. And it's looking like Spooky's going to wrap this game up soon. Depending on, how much Lottie does right now to this Draco, or to, well, I mean, he's going to sack the Cruel anyway, so Cruel's going to get sacked, Tar can just shoot it, and, yeah, it's looking like Spooky has this one, at this point. Draco coming down, doing 23, not a whole lot, gonna shoot it, and, yeah, Lottie's basically dead now, so there goes Lottie, and I think at this point, John's gonna have to hope that, that his own Tar and his own Zam can still break through somehow. Sableye comes in. If he's Shadow Ball, maybe, but nah, it doesn't look like he's Shadow Ball. HPI's Focus Blast Psychic. I don't think it'd be Shadow Ball here. Tark's gonna come in there and is going to get hit by the foul play. In this gen, Prankster does not stop opposing dark types, or it doesn't stop on opposing dark types. So Spooky will still be able to burn the Tar. And, yeah, that's going to be that. Goes for rocks there. And pretty much John is just saying GG at this point. Because, again, Sableye just 1v1s this. Well, I mean, if he landed Fire Blast, maybe that would have helped a little bit. But, still, Sableye seems to be like max Buff. So, it was able to take the Fire Blast and the Bug Buzz from Volcarona in the previous game. So, if this is the same Sableye, it probably would have taken Fire Blast anyway. So Tar's going to drop to the... actually, almost going to drop. Well, it is going to drop now because of the Fire Blast landing. But again, at this point, Tar's going to drop there to the... it's going to drop to Lottie's Dragon Pulse. Or actually, no, it goes for the Calm Mind anyway. Goes for Crunch. Does get some damage, but still not enough. And Tar's going to drop to the Burn. And all that's left is Zam, but Zam can't do much here, especially with HPI, since that seems to be the only move it has. Gets 26%, which isn't bad, but That's going to be that. And that is going to be GG for Spooky. So Spooky is going to move on to the next game. So now at this point in the tour, let's see. Sid's already won his game against Vento. Again, Ed won by default. Because of Taiga's no activity. And then for this game, we see that Spooky wins. So at this point, I believe that the next game was supposed to be Sid versus Spooky. But Spooky, or no, not Spooky. Sid actually didn't show up for this game. So because of that, Spooky will be able to move on to the finals of the tour, and the finals will be Spooky versus Ed, as Ed was able to come back in the last second. So final game of the tour of this Black and White OU tour. For the first part of the Summer War, we have Spooky's looking like some semi-stall stuff going on here, like some sun stall, versus Ed's drag mag team. So matchup wise, it's gonna be very hard for Ed to even break through this, because, well, let's see. Chansey can definitely, take on the special attackers very easily. Potentially has like T-Wave or Toxic, which can definitely hurt the physical attackers. Ninetales just sets up the sun. It doesn't really, provide a whole lot of utility besides maybe like burning things. So if Ed, lets Garchomp or the Dragonite get burned, then he's gonna have a really, really rough time actually breaking this team. So yeah, there's that. Mag can't really trap anything, so it's kind of just there. But usually on mags like this, they have Sunny Day, which can actually trap Ferrothorn and opposing mags. So while the sun is going to be up for Spooky, it's not really going to benefit. It's not really going to benefit for Ed that much. Starmie, believe that Starmie's going to be like some kind of analytic set. It might do some work, but again, with Sun being up and with Ed not running weather of his own, it's going to be really difficult to say if Starmie will really do a whole lot here, especially when, again, you got Chansey there and also Cress, so you can't really break through that anyway, especially with the Sun up too. Kyurem is probably the best wall breaker here, depending on what kind of Kyurem it is. If it's banded, band Kyurem can definitely do some work. If it's going to be a mixed one, mixed probably won't do a whole lot. I mean, it's good against half the team still. It's very good against half the team. But if this is gonna be like some banded Kyurem, it just wrecks shop, honestly. And then we have Rachi. Rachi might be like the rocker here, I believe, on a team like this. Again, these more offensive teams. I believe this is actually the rocker. So Rock shouldn't really help that much, especially because of Xatu and Drill. So this is gonna be an interesting game. Let's see what happens. Turn 1, we got the Xatu versus the Rachi, and Xatu's gonna go for Reflect. So we see a Reflect up. Well, Reflect is definitely interesting. I've never really seen Xatu in Black and White, so I don't really know what it does. Again, just going by my own knowledge from what it does in like Gen 6, Gen 7, and Gen 8. It's more of a, Gen 8, well, I guess 7, it's still like a pivot because you have U-turn. But I don't know what it really does here in Black and White. But it seems like it's going to be a screen setter for Spooky. So with this being a screen setter, it probably means that, he has some other sweeper that he wants to set up with. So maybe it could be like Calm Mind Crest, or maybe even Glasgow with SD, something like that. Some kind of like stall breaking thing, which usually, Glasgow would be on something like this. So yeah, in comes Drill. Drill is going to take whatever this goes for. Ed's going to U-turn out. Going to get the U-turn off and bring in Starmie. That means that, Chansey can make the switch here, and Chansey is going to make said switch. Surf comes down, which is 21% from Analytic. Mag is going to come in here on the Rocks. So Rocks being up is bad because Dragon's going to get worn down, and that's going to force Ed to switch out and go into Starmie, which is going to get tossed on the switch. So Spooky is just making all the aggro plays at this point. Spin's going to come down. That's going to bring down the Starmie. After the life, we're going to knock it out. So Ed pretty much lost lost a lot of offensive pressure with the Starmie there, because again, Surf would have been pretty good against Drill, and even on the and even for the Glass score. Sorry about that. That was my phone going off. So with that happening, Ed's gonna have to try and break through this Chansey with the Garchomp now, and he's gonna do just that with an Outrage. He gets a crit. That's a very, very huge crit. Don't know what kind of Garchomp that is, but just based on that crit, it could be Banded, maybe. It could be Banded. But but again, that was a crit. But I'm pretty sure this might have been like Banded Chomp. So Crest is in now. Crest can go for the Ed's gonna go for the Outrage. Actually, just seeing that damage, maybe this actually isn't Banded. It might have been like Scarfed. Might have been Scarf Chomp. Or maybe SD, but he just decided to go for the Outrage. I feel like Scarf makes sense, actually, looking at this team. Probably with Scarf Chomp. But yeah, Ice Beam's gonna come down and get froze. So Chomp is now frozen. So pretty much a trade for a trade. And there goes Chomp. So Chomp is dead. Ed's gonna go into the zone here on the Glass Score switch. Gonna go for a sub here on Glass Score switch. And Spooky's gonna get his Toxic Orb, goes for the SD. Goes for an HP Fire, and yeah, Ed can't do a whole lot to this thing because Gliscor is just bulky, and Gliscor's gonna break through with the sub, or gonna break through the sub with the +2 Facade. Gonna get the recovery off there. Goes into Night on the switch on the next SD from Spooky. So Spooky's just not letting any pressure up. Goes for a DD from Ed's side. Facade comes down, doing almost over half. Average gonna come down at +1, not gonna kill the Gliscor. Facade's gonna come down and knock out the Dragonite. So Dragonite's dead, and pretty much Spooky's just soloing at this point with the Gliscor. Gonna go into the Ninetales on the switch, as Ed is gonna go for the Dragon Claw, and it is gonna knock out the Ninetales. Again, I'm pretty sure that's banded, so I don't think that Dragon Claw crit mattered. Yeah, there goes that. Drill comes in, and Drill is going to Ed's gonna switch out and go into the zone, and zone is down dead to the Quake switch. Jirachi comes in. Ed is going to go for the Icy Wind, I guess, to try and like slow down something. Maybe again for the Kyurem, which might be Adamant banded. Earthquake gonna come down. Rachi lives it because Rachi is probably like max defense just based on that. Energy Ball gonna come down, not doing a whole lot, and there goes Rachi. So Rachi's dead, and Kyurem can come in. Kyurem can pretty much go for like an Earth Power or whatnot. Maybe try and beat it. But Ice Beam comes down instead. Ice Beam probably won't do a whole lot to this. Yeah, it didn't do a whole lot. 35. Goes for a Tauntic and misses, so Spooky is not getting lucky with the Tauntic landing. Goes for the Tech again with Drill, just to waste more Ice Beams, and also to get another chance to Toxic as well, so that we can just Toxic protect. But gonna miss it again, and again, pretty much if Kyurem can beat this, then maybe he has a chance to still win against the rest of Spooky's team. But you have to get like a freeze on Chansey or on Crest too. But nope, Tauntic lands, and that's going to be pretty much GG, since again Drill just protect stalls, and also Crest can come in too and just absorb the Ice Beam, or actually sack this and then go back into Crest, and that's gonna be GG. So he protects, goes into Zatsu, and that's GG. So yeah, so Spooky wins. So Spooky is going to win the first Black and White OU tour of the Summer War. So now he is going to get 1 point from this tour. Originally I wanted, I didn't realize it, but I probably should have made this tour like, throughout the whole weekend. Like I should have made it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to give everyone a chance to play. But I did it kind of last minute, so I didn't really give a lot of people, enough time to prepare and actually, want to be interested in playing. But yeah, I do think to make it more even for everyone, I'm gonna try and make it, throughout the whole weekend for the next tours. So yeah, so Spooky, like I said, he gets 1 point. If he wanted to, he could actually play for 2, or he could actually play the next day as well, which would mean which is basically like the way how Smogon Tour works, where they do like a whole like session of it being 3 days of tours, or the whole weekend being tours. So thinking about doing the same thing, which will give more chances for points. So yeah, again, Spooky wins, and he gets 1 point for this tour. So again, this was recorded last weekend or this weekend, or I mean, well, this the games happened on Sunday, I think, or Saturday. No, it was Sunday. Games happened on Sunday. Um, but yeah, games happened on Sunday. Um, so for next weekend, I'm deciding on doing ADV OU for this weekend or for next weekend. So it'll be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The players can only play 2 days. So you can't play all 3 days because that wouldn't be fair to everyone else that wants to play on the tour. Um, so yeah. Uh, so yeah, that's that. Again, I'm gonna give more players opportunities to get points. So that is going to be that. So again, if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and comment on the video. Again, let me know if you want to see me do more tournament coverage. I definitely won't mind doing more tour coverage on the channel. So yeah. Again, I will see you guys next weekend for the next tour for the Summer War. So yeah. That's that. Be safe. Wash your hands, and I will see you in the next tournament review thing I do. So yeah, peace out.